So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in.
Big U is finally turning himself in, and he's dropping some major info about Nipsey's murder. Ever since Nipsey Hussle passed away, one name has kept coming up: Big U. From the streets to social media, people haven't stopped pointing fingers and making accusations.
Big U had Nipsey Hussle killed. Everybody know that.
Charleston White said it. SKG said it. Even insiders like Loose Cannon claimed Big U knew about Nipsey's death before it happened. And now, just when things started to quiet down, Big U has dropped some new details that could change the whole story. Let's break it down. Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Joseph Aston, was a rapper and entrepreneur from South Los Angeles. He rose to fame with mixtapes like The Marathon, and later earned a Grammy nomination for his album Victory Lap. But beyond the music, Nipsey was known for giving back to his community, especially through his Marathon clothing store at Crenshaw in Slauson, Eugene. Big U Henley had a very different past. He was a well-known figure in the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips and spent years involved in street activity before going to prison. In a DJ Vlog interview, Big U talked about his early life and time in the streets. He served 13 years behind bars from 1991 to 2004. After getting out, he said he wanted to focus on community work and stopping gang violence. Big U and Nipsey's relationship started out solid. Around 2008, Big U became a mentor to Nipsey, helping him grow his All Money and brand and connect with more people. According to All Hip Hop, Big U even toured with Nip, including during the LAX tour with The Game and Kendrick Lamar, then known as K. The time Big U was in his 40s and Nipsey was only 18 or 19. In interviews, Big U said he saw something special in Nipsey's style and grind. Nipsey showed love back, shouting Big U out in his music. But by 2011 their relationship took a dark turn. Reports say it started with a small disagreement over equipment at Big U's shop, but things escalated fast. Big U allegedly assaulted Nipsey, his brother Black Sam, and even their father. The situation got worse, ending in a shootout involving Black Sam and the LAPD. Some online sources like Reddit posts claimed this wasn't about music or money, it was tied to deep gang politics. The fallout was serious enough that Nipsey dropped a diss track aimed at Big U. In a documentary, Big U even admitted he tried to have Nipsey disciplined over the song, though Black Sam reportedly stepped in to stop it. Surprisingly, by late 2016 it looked like the beef was over. Reports say Big U and Nipsey made up and started working together again. Big U even served as Nipsey's road manager during the Victory Lap promo tour in 2018. That's why some people are still suspicious. They wonder, was that reunion real or just an opening for Big U to get closer again and maybe plan something worse? By 2016 Nipsey's career was taking off. His Victory Lap album would go on to earn major awards and respect in hip-hop. As road manager, Big U would have known everything where Nip was going. His security set up his schedule. He was one of the few people Nipsey still trusted. Even though some believe Big U may have been involved, it's important to remember that Eric R. Holder Jr. was officially convicted of Nipsey Hussle's murder in 2022 and sentenced to 60 years to life in 2023. According to the courts, Holder acted alone and was driven by a personal argument with Nipsey. In a 2021 Drink Champs interview, Holder denied any rumors that he and Nipsey had real beef, saying they still talked and had no serious problem. He even said he was frustrated by people using Nipsey's death to gain clout. But recently things have gotten interesting again. On March 28, 2025, Adam 22 from the No Jumper podcast said that federal agents showed up at his place asking for a cease and desist letter from Big U. Why? Because Big U had sent that letter after rapper Loose Cannon went on the show and claimed Big U knew about Nipsey's murder before it happened. This comes at the same time as Big U's own arrest on federal RICO charges, which include fraud, extortion, tax evasion, and the 2021 murder of rapper Rayon Williams. The feds haven't directly tied Big U to Nipsey's case, but people are connecting the dots. The fact that the feds are asking for documents related to claims about Nipsey has definitely raised eyebrows. So now people are asking, if the claims weren't true, why was Big U so desperate to shut them down? Was he just protecting his name? Or was there something deeper? To add more fuel to the fire, in March 2025, 19 alleged members of the Rollin' 60s Crips, the gang Big U is connected to, were also indicted. The feds claim Big U was running the crew like a mafia boss. Again, none of this directly links him to Nipsey's murder, but the timing has people questioning everything. The truth is Big U and Nipsey had a very complicated relationship. It started as mentorship turned into conflict, then supposedly got patched up. And now even years after Nipsey's death it's surrounded by controversy. And then came SKG. SK real name Halsey Choice, also known as Suge Knight Girl, has come forward with heavy accusations. She claims Big U had something to do with Nipsey's death. SKG isn't just a random voice, she's a former Death Row Records artist deeply connected to the L.A. rap scene. After Big U's arrest in 2025 her voice got even louder. Now people are wondering, is she just taking advantage of the timing to get attention, or did she finally feel safe enough to speak up? In a December 2023 interview with Tasha K, SKG said that Nipsey once set her up to be assaulted by Big U while she was pregnant. That's where her anger toward both of them comes from and why her claims now are getting serious attention.
Well, you know, he jumped on me. He lured me over to Nipsey Hussle's shop. He jumped on me while I was pregnant, beat me up, made me go to another part of the neighborhood. I got jumped by 3 girls. I still have a scar on my back from that incident.
According to her, this assault happened after Big U was embarrassed during a meeting with LA radio station KDA. In a more recent interview on No Jumper, SKG described the incident in detail. She explained that she was working at KDA radio station and had initially brought Big U and Nipsey Hussle into her professional circle.
Now I'm like, oh well, I have a little homeboy and he's starting to rap and he's doing music. I want to plug him over here because I'm at the radio station. Oh, Big U is over here, let me bring him over here because I'm at the radio station. I'm already in position, right? It was never it wasn't valuable for me to work with him to where I benefited because I was already SKG.
According to SKG, after a business disagreement with Big U regarding a community project, Nipsey called her weeks later asking for promotional posters she had for him. When she went to Nipsey's shop, she claimed she was ambushed.
I walk in the shop, him and Fats, they're out at the counter. I walk up, I'm talking to him, and I just hear the click, click. And it was like I knew that was that. I just knew. It's like it's a setup.
Oh, wow. Click, click, like somebody had a gun drawn on you?
No, click, click. They closed the door.
Oh,
click,
they
click.
locked it. Okay.
So they closed it, and then it was a thing where you can lock it, and I just heard the click, click.
This isn't the first time SKG has made these claims. She's actually been telling this same story for years, saying that Nipsey Hussle and his friend Steven Fats Donaldson set her up to be jumped by Big U. The fact that she's stuck to the same story all this time gives it a bit more credibility, but it also raises a question: why didn't anyone take legal action back then? Interestingly, SKG says that even after all of that, she and Nipsey eventually made peace. During one of their meetings, she even warned him, saying something's going to happen to you if you don't move from over here. When Nipsey asked why, she responded, because they don't respect you. She talked about this on the No Jumper podcast on April 1, 2025, saying she saw danger coming before Nipsey was murdered. Despite everything between them, SKG said she was deeply hurt by Nip's death in 2019, showing that she still cared about him even after all their issues. But after Big U's arrest in March 2025, SKG's comments became much more direct. In an interview with TMZ on March 21, she straight up said that Big U definitely had something to do with Nipsey's murder. She called for justice and said she hoped authorities would connect him to the case. As of May 1, 2025, police still haven't made any link between Big U and the crime. What's wild is that SKG doesn't believe Eric Holder acted alone. Even though Holder was convicted and sentenced for the shooting, SKG suggests there was a bigger plan and that Holder may have just been the trigger man. When asked why she's so confident, SKG hinted that she has inside knowledge and said people would be shocked once the truth came out. She also pointed to jealousy as a possible motive, claiming that Big U couldn't handle Nipsey's success and influence in the community. Now some people are skeptical. They say SKG is only speaking up now because Big U is in trouble, but her supporters point out that she's been telling this same story for years and only now feels safe enough to speak up. Others say there's still no solid proof, just her word. It's worth mentioning that during their reconciliation, Nipsey denied setting her up, which could mean it was more complicated than it looks. Maybe he wasn't behind it at all but got caught up in street politics that were out of his control. SKG's claims don't stop with the Nipsey story. She's also accused Big U of terrorizing the Crenshaw community for years, saying he extorted businesses and used violence to keep control. She even said she finally feels safer now that he's been arrested. So what could have motivated Big U if he really did have something to do with Nipsey's death? There are a few theories: money and control. As Nipsey's success grew, he may have become less dependent on people like Big U. The shift in power could have caused tension, respect and influence. Nipsey was becoming a respected leader in the community, something Big U may have seen as a threat. Old beef. Their violent fallout in 2011 could have left scars that never fully healed even after they patched things up publicly. So far there's no official connection between Big U and Nipsey's murder. Eric Holder is still the only person convicted. And Big U has denied everything, saying he turned his life around after prison and wants to change his legacy.
No, I know it.
You know,
I want to balance. I don't want to be remembered for being this negative force. You know what I mean? I don't want to live my life and the only thing you can remember about Big U was he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. You know what I mean?
Some critics have questioned SKG's motives. Her past ties to Suge Knight, a highly controversial figure with a history of violence in the music industry, make some people wonder if there's a hidden agenda behind her accusations. Is she speaking out for justice, or is this about settling old beefs? This whole situation highlights bigger issues in the world of hip-hop: loyalty, betrayal, power struggles, and how mentorship can sometimes go wrong. In this industry, the lines between street life and music business can blur fast, and those behind-the-scenes power dynamics often change lives in serious ways. But no matter where you stand on the accusations, one thing is clear: Nipsey Hussle's death was a massive loss. It wasn't just a rapper being taken too soon. Nipsey was a leader, a voice for change, someone who invested in his community instead of running from it. His murder left behind a huge void in music, in business, and in the lives of fans who looked up to him. Let's talk about just how deeply Nipsey's death impacted hip-hop. A big loss for hip-hop. When Nipsey Hussle was killed on March 31, 2019, the shockwaves were immediate. His music saw a huge surge in streams and sales. Victory Lap, his debut studio album, shot up to number 2 on the Billboard 200. Sadly, he never got to witness that success. His single Racks in the Middle featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy climbed the charts and later won Best Rap Performance at the 2020 Grammys. Now sure, it's common for artists to get more attention after their death, but Nipsey's case was different. His impact went way beyond music. Artists across the industry paid tribute. Kendrick Lamar honored him in his 2022 track The Hard Part 5, using deepfake visuals to literally become Nipsey and rap from his perspective. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a way of keeping Nipsey's voice alive. At Nipsey's memorial, Kendrick wrote a heartfelt letter recalling their early tour days together, showing just how far back their friendship went. Other artists like Snoop Dogg, Blueface, and Big Sean also honored Nipsey in music. The 2020 Grammys even featured a star-studded tribute performance by DJ Khaled, Meek Mill, YG, Roddy Ricch, and John Legend. Nipsey's impact beyond the music. Nipsey's death also had a real impact in the streets. After his murder, something incredible happened. Rival gangs in L.A. and Compton called for peace. His death sparked gang truces, with some reports saying hundreds of people were involved. It was a moment of unity that hadn't been seen since the 1992 Leaders, a riot. Even in death, Nipsey was still doing what he always did, bringing people together and pushing for better. His business legacy lived on too. The Marathon clothing store continued to operate, and in September 2019 a new AMB store opened on Crenshaw Boulevard, carrying on his dream of community-focused business. Puma also launched a Marathon clothing collaboration, with proceeds going toward Nipsey's community programs and legacy projects. Proceeds from Nipsey's Marathon clothing collaboration went toward the Neighborhood Nip Foundation, helping continue his community work. Nipsey didn't just inspire artists with his music, he changed how they think about business. Instead of just endorsing brands or launching vanity labels, more rappers started following Nip's example, building businesses that create jobs and directly serve their own communities. Los Angeles also honored his memory in powerful ways. Within months of his death, over 50 murals of Nipsey appeared across the city corner of Slauson and Crenshaw, where he built his empire, was renamed Erminia's Nipsey Hussle Astum Square. The Hyde Park station on the Metro K line was dedicated to him in August 2022, and that same month he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But Nipsey's legacy wasn't just about visuals and street names, it was about ideas. Inspired by the books Nip used to read, people started marathon book clubs in their communities, creating spaces to grow mentally, not just financially. That's what made Nip different. He believed in economic power and intellectual power, and he used both to try and lift his people up. His story continues to be told through pop culture too. Shows like All American referenced him, and a Netflix documentary co-produced by Ava DuVernay was announced to make sure future generations learn what he stood for. Even in the world of sports, Nipsey's influence was strong. NBA star Russell Westbrook dedicated a historic 2020 game to Nip's memory just days after his death, a powerful tribute from a legend to another. More than anything, Nipsey's death made the whole industry take a step back and rethink the connection between rap violence and street loyalty. After his murder, the conversation began to shift. People started asking, do you have to stay tied to the streets to be real? What made Nipsey special was that he never turned his back on his people, but he also didn't let that hold him back. He proved you could make it and still build where you came from. That's why the marathon continues isn't just a catchphrase, it's become a blueprint for community-led growth. Not gentrification, not erasing people, but building up communities from the inside by the people who actually live there. There's a sad truth in all of this. Nipsey's death may have spread his message further than his life could have, but because of that message he is still here, still teaching, still inspiring. Nipsey's murder highlighted a painful truth: struggle to stay rooted in your community while facing the real dangers that come with it, especially in places like South Central LA. His message reached far, but I could have led. His death at just 33 wasn't only the loss of a great rapper, it was the loss of a visionary who was redefining what it means to succeed in hip-hop without leaving your community behind. Even though Eric Holder was convicted for the murder, questions still linger. Did he act alone? Or was there more going on behind the scenes? Allegations from people like SKG against Big U reflected deeper skepticism, a belief that there's more to the story than what we were told. In a world where power often hides in the shadows, people wonder if the truth will ever come out. What Nipsey gave to hip-hop was more than music. He proved you could win and bring your people with you. He built a life where business, art, and giving back to the community could all live side by side. He rejected the idea that you had to choose between fame and loyalty, and in doing so created a blueprint where both could thrive. After his death, that iconic blue wave across social media, profile pictures, tributes, murals, was about more than grief. It was a show of solidarity with his mission. Success isn't real unless it lifts others up. Today we're seeing a new generation of hip-hop artists who are following Nip's example, measuring impact not just by streams or sales but by lives changed, jobs created, and communities rebuilt. As for the full truth behind his death, we may never get every answer, but one thing is certain: Nipsey Hussle changed how hip-hop sees its role in the world. And that legacy, it's still running strong. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the ones on your screen right now. Until next time, keep the marathon going.